forgot. That's a bummer. Hello, everybody. Our camera's going down today. Oh no, we froze up again. We froze up again. Hold on just a second. I don't know why the equipment's doing that today. There we go. Are we back? There we are. All right. Hello and welcome to Studio Time. So, do you ever have a painting that is kind of done and finished, but it's still blah? Well, that's exactly where I'm at today with this moonscape that you see over my shoulder. I could kind of go call it done, but I'm just not really happy with it. So we're going to be fearless and we're going to go forward and push that down the line. Cindy's here with us today, so she can take comments and relay them to me. So make sure if you have any questions or comments that you let us know. And we'll probably go, there she is. And we'll go forward with some studio time. All right, like always, make sure to be disoriented here. Like and subscribe if you have not. We are going live 3 times a day, 5 times a week, Monday through Friday for the month of December. This is the afternoon live show, studio time. And why don't you, what do you say we get started right now with? All right, so we're going to turn around here and do a little magic. Oh no, it took my, okay, something's not talking. We had that all nice and big. Should I dare? Or is that, you think he's going to crash me out again? All right, I think we're just going to live with what we've got today. And I'll have to do some investigating. So the first thing you're going to see is um, I've got to test this to see if it needs to be oiled out. So down below here, you can't see, but I have some medium and some Gamasol ready for that test. So let me test that out, and if it needs out, we're going to oil it out, and then we'll head to the palette and mix up some colors. Okay, and for this, I'm just going to take my medium with a little thinner. Just make sure that those colors are reading, none of them died out. It looked pretty even with the glare test, but sometimes even with that, I'm surprised. So now I don't guess, let's see. Let's just see. And as I was saying, I felt like this was kind of a so-hum painting. I could probably call it done and put it in a frame. Um, and the frame we have in mind, it actually looks really good in there. But I'm not thrilled with it. I expected a little more of myself. So what the heck? Let's go for it. All right, so I'm just getting my medium to the right consistency. Nice and thin. And then let's do a little check here. Let's do a little check. Yeah. So I like to start on my darks because those will usually be the things that come up that change. I think so. It's just slight here. It's just slight. So why don't we go over this thing? Let's just wet it down. So this has been sitting for at least a couple of months, maybe 3 months now. Trying to, oh yeah, at least 3 months. Lose track of time these days. So anyway, not a huge difference, but I am seeing, some of these colors come to life and things. And if you were around for the Masterworks last night, we looked at a George Carlson landscape. We looked at two of them, some winterscapes, and we looked at um, his value groupings and the measures between his values. So with that in mind, and also I always did feel like there was too much color in here. When I was doing this, I was working with a particular palette, the same palette I'm working with today, and just really experimenting with some things. And we never got quite where we needed to be. I'm going to take this, I'm probably going to bring it down here and take it off the top. There's no, we don't need anything happening right here. After I do that, this here, I mean, again, this is pretty much dead space. So I'm going to go ahead and make that a little bit bigger. And then that will be a very special tree right here. Okay, so that's how I'm going to change the composition. And I'm going to try to get more definite with my value separations. So let's just see what happens. This might all go to wherever things they go bad go. But that's kind of solid. It's all right. I'm not thrilled with that either. So I don't know how much we can do in an hour, but we're going to see what we can get into. And maybe the only thing we get into in an hour is me messing this whole thing up, and then we might have to kind of find our way back through. Who knows? All right.
Susan's with us. Hi, Susan.
Hello, Susan. So if you weren't here, Cindy's here with me today. So if you have questions or comments, we got somebody that can help us out with that.
I will do my best.
She says she'll do her best, but she is a master communicator, in my humble opinion. But I think most of our students would agree.
Thanks, Susan.
What does Susan say?
She said, "Go, Cindy."
Okay. So again, just making sure everything's wet and even. So I do that by the glare test. That's why you see me looking all funny right here. I'm reading the glare and seeing if there's any dead spots in the glare. Okay, I think we're good there. I'll take a real soft brush, wet a little bit, and then just make sure there's no standing medium or thickness there that was accidentally overlooked. And we definitely don't want any brush marks as we re-wet this. Brush marks with the paint's fine, but we don't need brush marks of the layers in between. Okay, so like I said, sometimes when we start, we have to throw it all out. So we may throw this out of whack a little ways, but I have in my mind some things I want to do. And one of those things is I want to take some color out of these trees and out of this as well. So we just got a little too colorful there in both the grass and I think over here in the moonlight highlight. Um, we're going to let that go off, and then we'll probably end up redesigning this and redesigning that. Now, is that all going to happen in an hour? Probably not, but hey, you never know. You never know. Slide in here. What could that be? Oops. No medium. No medium. How can you have pudding if you don't have any medium? Can't have any pudding without your medium. Wasn't that the Pink Floyd song? I may have got that wrong. Okay. So thinking about more of a neutral, I'm going to start with black. Black's a little stiff. Orange. Okay, so I have my dark red there, and there's the black. So let's see where we're at. Yeah, I think that's too much color. I think that's too much color. Now again, remember I've been trying to talk all week about separating. One way of dividing the painting and separating the feel of things out is paint with white versus paint without white. Now I'm not sure, that might be too heavy. Let's see. And again, it depends on how you put it on the canvas as well. Those brush strokes too big? Maybe a bit. Maybe a bit. Do I get something a little smaller? Yeah, here we go. So again, I'm just not going to go at it, but I'm going to put a spot up there and test it out. And we're going to go from there. And where are we going to go from there? Well, you know where we go from there. You can only go in two directions. Well, I guess you could actually go in three. You can either go more, or you can go less, or you can go the same. Three options, only three options. How hard could it be? So see, I think that's going to make this whole scene appear darker, taking this color out here. And then remember, I feel like this tree could be beefier, right? Who doesn't like a beefy tree? I don't want it the same all over, so let's go ahead and be bold if that comes forward, right? It's a big tree with some diameter, and spill out here. And again, I don't want to go too crazy because, well, I shouldn't say that. We're going to have to get this back into harmony. We're going to lose some of our harmony and our finish here, but by necessity to do those changes that I was thinking of, we're gonna have to knock things around. See, now that's gonna be huge. And let's just take this off, and that can take a big part of this. We'll let this, then all this empty space will bang, and we'll be able to bring our focus down to this part of the painting. All right, are you guys eating lunch to the sound of my voice? Having your afternoon tea? Are you in the studio at the easel? So give everything a chance to develop. But let us know the things you like, the things you don't like, what you'd like to see and learn about. Is there something you wonder, how does he do that in the studio? And these afternoons are meant for you to witness me work. I do try to let you know what I'm doing, but I take it more from a working perspective than a teaching perspective, right? Because when I'm teaching, you do things for clarity and for structure. And in my own work, I'm just kind of at a different stage. I'm not really doing anything different, but it's just not so clean, if that makes sense. Not so step by step. All right, let's see. And I do like this little lock over here, so I don't want to really interfere with that too much. But at the same time, that feels too much to me. So why don't we just quiet that down, and then we can even quiet that later. And we're going to do that by making this branch just a little bit bigger here. And then we can fill it out later with some foliage and stuff. Foliage. I have a special way of enunciating and pronouncing things. So that's brought to you at no extra charge. You guys can just enjoy that.
Susan has a question.
Okay.
It says, can you share something about this painting and where you were at with it before you started to work on it again?
Yeah, it was at a stopping point. I mean, I could have put it in a frame and probably sell it, but it seemed a bit sterile. And what today is about is pushing on to the next level. I expected more out of this painting. I wanted more out of this painting. And it got up to a level that was decent, but far below what I wanted. And so I'm hoping to show you an example of how, even a finished painting, if you're not happy with it, come in and take control, be ruthless. So I'm going to make this a lot bigger. Where did some of that come from? Well, some of that came from last night's program, looking at John Carlson, right? And this is how I work on my work, is I'll look at the masters and what they did, and then, how could I apply that to my work so that it would strengthen it? And then well, you're a scientist, so it's just a lot of like experiment. Well, okay, let me see, can I reproduce that? They say this works, or I think that's what's happening here. Let me try that out. And so what I'm doing today is going for it, right? I'd love to keep all of it and not just start from scratch, but there is a certain amount is let's establish this foreground, and then I want to take a lot of this color out. And a lot of that came from Emil Carlson, who's a tonalist, and we're going to look at a moonscape of his tonight, and maybe one more painting. So that's what I'm up to today, is just not settling, right? I'm unhappy with the state of my painting right now, is one way to say that. I really need to push it to the next level. And sometimes when you're at that place, and we get that place at different ways through our painting and artistic life, you just can't be scared. But again, I came in here with a strong concept of what I wanted. I'm not haphazardly doing it. Um, and this is a little rough right now. I'm just starting, so I'm allowing myself to warm up. And then, I might have to finesse this a little bit. I'll be very surprised if I don't have to finesse it. Maybe not a little bit, but a lot. But that's
Su-
okay.
Susan said that was interesting. She said, thank you, more food for thought when I'm in that place, which is often.
Yeah, we all kind of get there, and sometimes it depends on your mental energy too, if you know what I mean. Sometimes we're just at a place to where we can take more risk and stuff, and other times, uh, I need a hug. So a lot of painting is just kind of about paying attention to yourself. And the marks are there. The marks are there. Right. And as I do this, I'm trying to think an older tree, and I should have a specific kind of tree in mind, but I didn't necessarily on this one where I started. And so hopefully it doesn't look like too much of a Frankenstein tree when I'm done, but what the heck. And part of that is the tonalists, like we'll look at tonight, they're not necessarily representing quote unquote real places. They're a little bit more about, how should we say? How should we say? Emotional states or spiritual states, and portraying that kind of thing other than, oh, here's my neighbor Jed's land, right? You can give that to the surveyor and they can mark it all down. So the tonalists tend to be much more on the poetic side of things. The poetic side of things. Should we extend this? Why not? Why not, huh? Who doesn't like some growth? I mean, what's all this doing up here anyway? Now, I may have to come in after doing a beautiful job and destroy that because I might have to change the sky. That's all right. So enjoy it while you do it because it may end up on the cutting room floor. Even if right now I'm kind of excited about that little mark. You got to play it cool. Be cool, Jason. Just be cool. And you can see how I go, in a way, I'm just letting the brush do its own thing, but just gently guiding it. And this seems to have much more character, and already that tree trunk is coming much more forward, right? And as I get all of this mysterious and take some of this color out, we want to pass right through this, right? Maybe land them down in here somewhere and up in here. Have kind of a two spot, maybe a three spot thing going on. Then all of that could circle. We need an elegant, elegant little dancer there. We need an elegant little thing. We need an 85 little weakling of a girl coming on there and just opening up her mouth and blowing everybody away with her voice. All right, so that's the kind of star we're seeing there, right? When that little 85-pound little girl opens her mouth, those 300-pound roadies, man, just boom, stop dead in their tracks. Or something like that. You know, pick pick your own story. And as we saw in Carlson last night, this value gets weaker as we get up there, right? Like this branch right here needs to be weaker.
Susan said, even though you were making that tree less in the foreground, it's much more dynamic.
Yeah, yeah. And that's hard for people to understand is the power of just a silhouette without color and other things like that. And what happens is as we develop, quote unquote, our paintings, generally what that means for most people is they're about to weaken their paintings. So, you know, and I'm no exception to any of this. I went through the same things, but unfortunately, I didn't have anybody telling me, hey, maybe try this instead. I just saved myself a decade or decade and a half. But hey, that's neither. It was, decade, 2 decades. What's a decade or two among friends?
Hello, Miss Claudia. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, hey, got the Cambria Club here. Well, the founding member anyway. One of the founding members. Claudia, were you one of the first Cambria people with us? I was trying to remember now.
I think she was, because
She was an
Sue was
early
after
early one, yeah.
Claudia. Yeah, we'll have to see what she says.
Okay, now I'm gonna fill this out again with some of those leaves and stuff. Kind of like that happening right there, and maybe a lock right. So some good things happening. So what would those green leaves look like? Oops, getting too excited for my headset, nearly threw it off. So not unlike the red, what I'm going to do, again, since I'm looking for a degree of grayness here, I have phthalo blue out there, um, but that's going to give me a really bright green. So let me start with just yellow ochre and black. And when you mix your paint, did you see how that had all those streaks in there? Take the time to mix it up, pick it up from the top to the bottom, flip the whole thing, right? Get it to a nice even tone. Because hopefully what you're seeing with these masterworks at night is that separation and how those separations are done. And it starts with these big tones and then just basically just a little bit of decoration is added. All right, so we got to check. We got to grab our Girl Scout cookies. We got to go put them in a bag. And we got to go tick, 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 tick over to the neighbors. Knock, knock, knock. Ooh, and look how light that is. And that's why I wanted to do that. Can you guys see that? Let me do bigger so you can see it. It's wrong, but you see how light that is? That's completely wrong. And and maybe it's not actually. I'd like it to be a bit darker, but I think because this green here is so mucked up, it's making it look like the wrong, but I like that. So let's go darker. Let's go darker. That was just black. So this is just black and that color there, which is yellow ochre. And I like that better. So again, what I'm doing here is actually going to be taking away the color and making it into a more of a silhouette. And since these are leaves, I don't want it even and hard edge all to the um, edge of every leaf. So I tend to go on the inside, and then I don't perfectly go in the center either. I'll go around, and then I can come back and pull that, add something. All right, so this is how. What are we trying to get out of this? What are we trying to get out of that? So just cover it up. You want to cover it up. Cover it up. Oh, but that pretty green color. I know. It's harsh. Harsh. Yeah, and maybe I'll leave some sky holes, maybe not. But I kind of work so I can find my way. All right, we gotta make sure we got some soft edges. Never seen a tree grow bricks, so make sure those edges are soft. All right, so as I said, Cindy's here with us today. She's working the new buttons or the extra buttons on the added machine, switching all the cameras. And the streaming software. So what do you say we give Cindy a pop quiz? Do you want to tell them about making sure to remember to subscribe?
Yes, definitely. If you have not already subscribed to our channel, you're going to see a little red box at the lower right
Oh, dang,
of
she
your
just went up me
screen.
on that.
Hover your mouse over that, and it's going to be able to let you subscribe just by clicking. So, if you have not already done that, we would love to have you as one of our audience members. And then also, we ask for a thumbs up on the video because that helps us grow as well. So,
Did you see him? Did you show him the cool graphic?
nope, it's coming right now.
You got?
Maybe. Oh, look at that.
Bang. How fancy is that?
Super fancy. All right, did I pass?
Pass. Yep. You are on your way to fancy pants status. You are on your way to fancy pants status. Join that elite club. Okay, so in a way, I'm having to blind myself to some of this other, and we're going to have to come in and push and pull here again. But I'm ignoring a lot of things so I can really think about the design and the shape. What, sweetie pie? Oh, wonder why we're freezing up. Still alive, so all I've been able to figure to do is to reconnect it. Is that what you were looking at? All right, let's see. Go ahead. All right. Woohoo.
Thanks. All right, technical difficulties. I got so excited when I passed my quiz. I guess it froze.
Okay. Um, yeah, so as I was saying, I'm focusing more on shape right now. And so it's not super thick paint, but I'm trying not to put edges that I've got to overcome later. All right, so just float a couple out there and we might be able to cut some sky back into it. And I don't think we need anything up here. Freeze again? All right, something is going wrong here. Hold on just a second. What, did you hit anything when it froze? Okay, just froze. Hmm. What we're gonna do is we're gonna try this one more time. I'm gonna actually just close that out. So welcome back. I'm Jason, the technical genius who knows how to unplug and plug things in. And luckily today that is working for us. So I'll hand it back over to Cindy and I'm gonna keep working on the tree. It's interesting too, like looking at it on the screen here. It gives me kind of a different perspective, and I do like that big dark on that side. It kind of sets that off. And so now I think to set it up, what I want is I want to kind of continue this dark and basically right through here too. And so what we have is almost a frame that we're going to go into the painting then. Of course, we're going to leave a little light over here, but I just think it's going to make a much more dynamic painting. And so again, it's the green grass, and grass is on the ground, which is a horizontal plane. And last night we looked at George Carlson. If you read his book, Carlson's Guide to Landscape Painting, you will know exactly what I'm talking about here. When I'm talking about separating the planes, the upright planes of the tree with the horizontal plane of the grass. So we might want to make it just a bit lighter. But for right now, I'm just going to silhouette. I'm even going to, yeah, let's just go ahead and take that. That green made me mad. I saw that green and it was just jumping up and down and causing all kinds of I go, you make me mad. You're not invited to the party. Goodbye. All right, so now I feel much better about this area. Not carrying all that negativity around with me, wanting to be all passive aggressive and stuff. Just took care of it. All right, let's just do the same thing here. And then what I can do here, and I'm probably going to come back, but I can make the top of this seem like grass. And then suddenly this big blob of bleh is just fine. Just fine. All right. And, according to physics, can that work? If that's the light, no, that can't work according to physics, but I'm not concerned with physics. I'm concerned with beauty, making a good design. So far I'm happy with the changes taking place. What do you guys think? Do you like those changes? I'm watching this video on the iPad on Procreate so we can just unlayer that and see it before. We'll have to see if we can't get fancy and do that. But even just this, I feel already I'm much happier with this painting. Now, I am really, really, really disappointed in what Jason did right here and right here. Those are some very, very, very sad tree shapes. So I think we may have to take a little walk and have a talk about his shapes. It's like he wasn't even trying or something. No, in all honesty, I remember doing this and I remember just running out of time. And we'll do it on the next time, and then you don't get back to the next time. But here we are now. So I want to somehow get this tree to kind of reach over there. I can also almost just try it out here and let's see, maybe a little bit. So the question is, do I want, yeah, since I want you to come over here, that tells me, so then do I want this? Well, cut that out because then that'll help that versus that. So let's do a little bit more.
Susan said, I like the change. More drama and less eeriness, but more punch in the back.
Mm. Less eeriness. That's interesting. That's interesting. Um, so I'm using the same thing that I used over here, but I'm just kind of scrubbing it in right now. And more than anything, I'm trying to just figure out what I want to do. And again, since I want to be here, I want to take some of this out. I might leave a little sky hole or two. Let's take some of this out.
She said, no more eeriness.
No more eeriness. It's something I wasn't watching, and it's just so interesting because, even me sitting here doing this with these ideas in my head, sometimes you see the ideas more than the actual canvas. And so it does help having people, just make casual comments. Even people that might not know anything about art, you'll be surprised sometimes they'll say something and you go, wait, what? I'm not saying Susan doesn't know anything about art. She knows a lot about art, but even the untrained eye, right? It's a different perspective. Oh, what?
Reversed. She says, no, I'm saying it has more eeriness now.
Okay. That I can see. That I can see.
Yeah, I agree on that one.
And it's nighttime, right? It's nighttime. That's part of it. What I'm doing now is just taking a lot of that. There's a lot of high chroma green there. And I'm just taking it down. Taking it down. And again, I think. All right. All right. Then maybe, again, just because we don't really don't need all that sky up there. But I do want something interesting, right? I keep building a board and a board and a board. I want a board, but we may be high enough now that we can build a couple bridges where some of these things actually may just touch or kiss a little bit with the little end of a limb. And then I think, in a way that even makes the sky more intense, doesn't it? Is it framing it with that dark? I do like this. I do like this. And remember, when I started, this could have been a finished, framed, price tag painting. So the whole point of this was, more, more. What's next? What else could I do? Now, don't do this to all your finished paintings, but occasionally you got to go for it. You got to go for it. And sometimes it pays off, and sometimes you lose a painting. So paint some more paintings. How's that looking? What's our time anyway? So been about 40 minutes. Okay. We had a 10-minute head start with a timer. I know it throws me off too. So now I'm just taking a look and seeing what I want to do. I definitely need to maybe clean that up or maybe not. There's some value changes in there. I think what I want to do is let me start walking out of this. I want to get rid of some of this white because why don't I take you right in here and we'll have this tree doing something really beautiful and elegant, and we'll have this light. I think that'll be really nice just behind that dark silhouette of all of that. And then we'll keep this quieter, not so active, so that you can go boom, 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 right? Or really it would be one, we're going to float past here. We've got this. It's going to be a little bit on the ground here, and then we'll float up to that light. even as I say it, I'm listening to what I'm saying and watching it and seeing if I can see it and if that's a good idea. So anyway, for me, it's about question. I want to know have an idea, and the more specific idea I can have where I want to go. But within that general kind of what I'm doing, it's a lot of questions, a lot of questions. All right, so what would that be there? And maybe I should start with my orange ground there. So again, this should be quite a bit lighter than yeah, yeah. Yes, and I think what that does is that chroma, that hue, that orange, that warm connects these two now. Oh, and I love connections. They make my heart so warm, right? It feels good. I'm joking, but it does. It feels good. It feels good. All right. So then when we come out into this needs to be what? Well, darker, richer. Darker, richer. I got so dang crazed with making it cool so it looks lit, it lost its dark richness. So my phthalo blue is scary. It is such a scary color. Such a scary color. And it is such a scary color. What the first thing I'm going to do is add some dark gray and black to it. Hmm. I did that because I don't know that it's appropriate there, but it's going to be appropriate somewhere here. And it's a very go away color. Again, what happened? We went so many days and then, why is YouTube mad at us? We're not at our percentage. This is just an equipment thing. So let me make sure that this webcam's plugged in well and we got all these good connections here.
Hang tight with us. Oh, technology. I love you and I don't love you sometimes.
It's all good. Just gonna press some buttons, plug some things in, unplug some things in. Boom, 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 boom. It's not like a dinosaur ate one of our children, so it's all relative. It's all relative. All right, so we're back up and running. So if you want the version with no interruptions, well, that cost more. I don't know what to tell you. You need to upgrade. Were you doing any pictures and pictures or anything? Okay, were you doing it before? Okay. Yeah, I'm wondering if because that's really about the only thing we're doing different is a picture in picture today, and for some reason it seems to be messing with us. So we'll get it figured out. We'll get it figured out. If you want your money back, we'll give you your money back. We'll give you your money back for today's program. What was the cost of today's program? What was the cost of today's
I'm trying
program?
to think of something witty. It's just not coming.
All right, well, we'll have to get our jokes on point too. We'll work on it, guys. We'll work on
I
it.
think I need food. My brain power.
Oh, you haven't eaten food?
No, it's okay.
Oh, yeah. Cindy does for us. Cindy does for us. Yeah. All right. So we're back here trying to find. You see how drastically I'm graying this off. I still feel like that's too light. That's too light. Okay, this feels like a better value, right? Because we just ease out of that shadow. What's happening over
And
there?
Claudia said, just remember, no fence building.
Yeah, I've got it all on the line here. I'm going live hours a day, and I've been screaming at you guys for years and years. Woo! I'm gonna get it, I think. And I should. If I slip up, I'm gonna let you guys get away with it, so you can't let me get away with it.
Claudia said 0.
For what? Oh. All right, so let me step back and have a look at this. Maybe a little.
Oh, I see. Claudia said 0, and then she said you are worth much more. So back to the what
Oh,
did it
zero
cost
was
us?
the how much is it?
All right, now I got it. See, I'm catching up, Claudia.
Uh, it's all good. I'm just joshing with you guys. Anybody who's been around knows that. Anybody who's been around who's new, my name's Jason. My wife Cindy's working the controls. Our daughter Izzy shows up every now and then. And I'm an oil painter, an artist living on the Central Coast, and an art instructor. And we're trying to get going live on YouTube. Up and running and just seeing how this, can we call it a new economy? What are we going to call this? All of this, all this interweb stuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, what are we going to call it? Anyway, whatever we're stepping into, we're trying to embrace it. Trying to embrace it with a warm hug rather than a flamethrower. We'll let you know how it goes. If any of you are flamethrowers out there, let us know, just in case we need to have an alternative to our warm hugs. Right? It's good to keep your options open. Okay, again, some of that coolness just felt too much. It's that measure. It's that measure. Like that's feeling better to me. Even I haven't adjusted the temperatures and things like that. That's feeling better. Right? And I'm all about the feels. I like the feeling good. I like the feeling good. So I'm going to do a similar thing. Whoop, right up here. All right, and what I'm going to do is I want to basically take that out. Take it out. And so what I'm going to start with, again, is I'm going to start with a gray. Rather than starting with a color, I'm going to start with the gray and then just how much color does it really need? But what I do want to make sure I have right is the value. Right, and I like that value for one because it's so close to what's already there. Why did I just wipe my brush? That was a bonehead move. Anyway, I know my teacher should be nicer to me. Um, I want all of this disappearing up here. So it is so gray and blah. That's exactly what I want. And then if I need a little spot of color up there, I can come get it back. But we're gonna have to borrow this color and this attention and this vibrancy for our leading lady. Okay, a little too much. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so let's start. What would be just coming into color from that? How could we just come into some color from that?
Claudia said the branches in the little tree.
Mhm.
That
What
was
about them?
her question. What was that about, Claudia?
There we go. So, right, nice and quiet. What's baby? This one. What about it?
So what about it, Claudia? The little branches in the tree on the left? What am I missing?
All right, so now this looks like two trees almost. So we're gonna have to get that back together. Like I said earlier, some of this is gonna be destroyed. Remember all that cool stuff? Look, that's all messed up now. It's all messed up. Look what you did going and fixing that sky. You done and messed up that tree. And you know what? You got to get used to that because that, my friends, is painting. And that's why it's important from the very beginning to kind of know what you want to do. And then we've got to start paying attention to how this material works, right? Because we may not be able to get it in one clean swoop. I'm kind of liking the vagueness that this is bringing out.
Claudia said you're right. It brings out the moon.
Yeah.
Oh, she said the fence building from before.
Oh, right
The
there.
branches.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it definitely needs a little work. But again, you guys know it's hard in the time to do it all at once. And so it's about, prioritizing and what you're doing first. So I don't necessarily hate this. It needs to be adjusted. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to come back and see if I can find something here and maybe push a little more color into that than I've had before. It's just slightly warmer. So I kind of like that transition a bit. We get some warms and cools going. And sometimes you want to be cool, sometimes you want to be hot. So you guys switch it up a little bit. Right? Depends on your mood. All right. Okay. All right. Oh, you'll be surprised. So Claudia says the branches seem to repeat. I figured you knew what you were doing. Well, I too, but again, when you're focusing on one thing, you'll be surprised at how at how basic things get messed up. I know you guys all know the deal. I know you guys know the deal. So what I try to do is just make a mental note of it and then come back to it. Because if I'm in this value right now, I don't want to jump over to another value to try to fix something. So let's keep closing in here. Kind of like what's happening. Go ahead and complete this run. So as I get closer in here, I don't want to be pure, but I get a little lighter, a little brighter. There we go. Oops. Whoops. Press too hard, turn the thing the wrong way, and out came the wrong value.
Claudia said, "Ooh, that's pretty. I am done now. I'll just watch."
I don't know. I love your 2 cents, Claudia.
Susan commented saying, "It's interesting to have learned to slow down and not be in a hurry to finish. And yet, with the principles you have taught us, I see how quickly you can make a difference in moving to a better ending."
Yeah, it's really ironic. It's But again, you're just being more purposeful, and it's probably like if anybody that was any good at business saw me trying to run a business, I would think, hey, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but you're putting a lot of work into that where you could just kind of breeze by it. And it's simply because I don't have understanding on that part of the thing, right? And I'm looking at it from a different lens. But once you have understanding, I think of, as cliche as it might sound, the ancient kung fu masters or whatever, that are very, very powerful using very little energy, right? And can really work and maneuver and manipulate people much stronger and larger and faster than them. Same sort of principles. All right, so what do we have here? We're coming up on an hour. I'd like to keep these for an hour. Uh, you guys have any last questions or anything? I'm happy where I pushed this, but it's almost like I started over, and I'm going to come back 2 or 3 times and do some bridging and some drawing and the bringing in and bringing out. Um, Today, I'll probably keep working on the sky a little bit, and if I'm feeling frisky and feisty and plenty of energy, I'll go ahead and start trying to find our little dancer tree there in the middle. Um, so that's my hopes and dreams. And usually when you have hopes and dreams like that, you get about 1/100th of that done. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right, let's wait a minute since there's a delay. Like I said, if you guys have any questions or comments before we finish up. And just one last reminder, we're live 5 days a week, 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 8 p.m. And those are all Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And that's on YouTube, Meyer Studio channel. On Facebook, Meyer Studio, we have Sketch Club Live, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night. Today being Thursday. Starts at 6:55 with a little introduction, and then we do 20 minutes of sketching. All right, babe, any questions or comments or anything coming in?
No, Claudia was like, "That's why my husband pays the bills." She can give it there.
That's funny.
No, I'm glad that you guys were able to join us this afternoon. So if you have not already, just remember to subscribe to our channel and give the video a thumbs up. I did that last time and it froze.
Oh, okay. We may be overloading it. All right, so you don't get any special effects or anything for us. You just get a little wave. I know, just making room for you. All right, everybody. Thanks so much, and we will see you soon, even if I'm looking over there. I'm getting better at finding you guys. All right, guys, have a good one. We'll talk to you later.